Hola, buenas noches. And that's really as far as my Spanish speaking ability goes, unfortunately. They say one of the hardest things a dyslexic can learn is a different language. And well, given the event, the theme of the event, and the fact that I myself am a very, very dyslexic person, I'm going to use that as my excuse and speak in English for the rest of the evening, if that's all right with you. So good evening. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Dylan Douglas. I'm 20 years old and a proud member of the dyslexic community. I guess for me, my dyslexic journey can be split into two parts. The first part being the slow, painful realization that there was something wrong with me, that I was different, not in a good way. And that time came with it with a lot of insults from students, from teachers, from my friends. They would call me names like I'm dumb, stupid, lazy, worthless. And when you're, young at that age, you take those insults at face value. You start to believe you're dumb. You start to believe in your own worthlessness. And it was hard. It was a hard time in my life. But the fact is, the second part of my dyslexic journey completely overshadows the first, and that was the beautiful realization that dyslexia, though they called it disability, was the greatest gift that God or nature could ever give to me. Because being dyslexic by nature forces you to work 5 times as hard as the average person, just to do simple things like read, write, spell. I couldn't even spell my name. I like to think of it that us dyslexics were like runners running a race, but forced to wear weights on our ankles, and forced to keep up with the pack. And of course we're slower because of the weights, but every step we take, it builds our muscles stronger because of the weights. And it builds our determination, our resolve, our resilience, our work ethic. And the truth is, with the right support, with academic accommodations, we can overcome the weights, be free of them, and run just as fast, even faster than the regular pack. The truth is, though, my dyslexic story is not universal. I was very fortunate. I was able to attend schools that accommodated my learning disability, that allowed me to think differently. And that's not the case for all dyslexics. And the truth is that the dyslexic mind is a tremendous, tremendous machine. We are very capable people, very smart people, but we need help. We need schools that accommodate our different way of thinking. But most importantly, we need to be believed. We need you to believe in us, because if you don't believe in us, how can we believe in ourselves? We are living in very crazy times at the moment. Very crazy times. And a lot of change has occurred, both good and bad. But one positive change I'm seeing now is a sort of global discussion about inclusivity. And this year alone, I've learned so much about different people's way of life, different opinions, different way of thinking, different life experiences, and grown so much as an individual because of it. But the truth is, with these discussions of inclusivity, we need different ways of thinking included in those discussions. We need dyslexic minds included in those discussions. And from this craziness is going to emerge a new world that we're going to have to build together. And I hope and I know that dyslexics and dyslexic minds will be forefront in creating a more positive world. Thank you so much for inviting me to take part in this event. I'm so honored and humbled. But more importantly, I'm so inspired by this event. I really haven't heard of a dyslexic event outside my immediate area, let alone in a country an ocean away. So it brings me so much hope and inspiration for dyslexic advocacy on a global scale, especially in the country of Spain, a country I've spent a lot of time in and which has a very special place in my heart. For all of you dyslexics watching tonight, though we may not speak the same language, we may not live close to each other, we are tied together because we think the same and share the same struggles and have shared the same victories. So I hope to be here in person and meet all of you very soon. My final point is for the people watching that aren't dyslexic. I assume for this event, most of you are allies, and I thank you very much for your support. However, for those of you that don't know what dyslexia is, don't know who we are, why we think a certain way, I ask you to give us a chance. Give us an opportunity to prove us ourselves. Believe in us. Because if you believe in us, we'll believe in ourselves. And self-belief is half the battle with overcoming dyslexia. Overcoming the weights. Turning this disability into an ally. Because when we believe in ourselves, there is nothing that we cannot do. Thank you so much. Good night.